I want to bring in to this Transportation Trades Department president at the AFL-CIO Federation of Labor Unions. Greg Regan is with us. Greg, thanks. I want to just follow up with you what I just asked our correspondent on Capitol Hill. You know, these paid sick days, it's really one of the major sticking points here. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. How important is it to the workers, and why isn't it in that agreement, and why can't Democrats get it through the body they control?
Well, it is vitally important for rail workers. And I think when you look at what they've been through over the past 3 years, when, by the way, they have been without a raise during that entire time as this contract has been negotiated, they have been out there in the elements during a pandemic where they risk getting sick or making their family sick. So that issue of paid sick leave, specific to sick leave, became really vitally important for a lot of members. I will say, you know, there are 8 of the 12 unions did ratify this agreement. There are a lot of good wins for labor unions in the tentative agreements, but we really are going to keep this fight moving as hard as we can to make sure we deliver on leave for these workers moving forward, whether it's on the vote later today or whether it's in a few weeks or a few months.
Right. Well, if I could follow up on what this strike is about. We're talking about the ins and outs of this vote, but tell us about the working conditions that rail workers are experiencing on a daily basis and that really was part of this dispute. What are they dealing with?
Well, I think it really goes back to the fact that the railroads have cut back their workforce to really skeletal levels over the past 7 years. In the last 7 years, they've laid off 45,000 employees, a third of their workforce. So as a result, you're ending up with people who are there being on call all the time, 24/7. You have work rules that are in place to ensure that people are discouraged from taking time off, discouraged from not going to work if they're tired or if they're sick. And it's creating a safety problem, frankly, for the system itself, where you have overworked people who are afraid to take time off, and they're operating up to 3-mile-long trains through every community in this country. So we need to address the fundamental practices of the railroads at the front end here. We need to make sure that we start hiring enough people and that the people have work rules that can allow them to do their jobs safely moving forward.
And much of the public conversation during this dispute has been about the nation's supply chain, the billions of dollars at stake for ordinary consumers and workers and businesses. You know, what do you say to Americans who might not understand the position of the rail workers and resent the threat to their businesses and to their Christmas packages getting delivered and all of that?
What I would say is that the rail system is not working for them right now. If you look at all the supply chain crisis that we had over the past 2 years, year and a half, the biggest contributor to that was a failure of the railroads to meet their demand. You have right now, if you look at the port of LA Long Beach, for example, the biggest delay in terms of moving cargo onto and off of the port are with the rail systems. They are not able to meet the demands that our economy is placing on it right now. And that's true in the agricultural sector, in manufacturing, in energy, in chemicals. All of those, and the companies themselves are saying publicly that the railroads are failing to provide the service that they require. So we need to, this should be important to every single American moving forward. We need to make sure that we get this vital piece of our economy up and running in a more responsible way, one that will not only treat its workers fairly, but also start delivering for our economy and for companies around the world in a much more effective way.
And Greg, we've seen over the past year or so, you know, labor feeling like for the first time in a long time in many places, you know, that they've got a stronger hand. And we saw John Deere workers go out on strike and this dispute here. Do you get a sense, first, that is true, that for the first time, for all kinds of reasons, supply chain reasons and others, labor workers do have a stronger hand than they had in the past? And more important, do you feel that the solidarity with organized labor, which for a long time had taken a beating, right, among a lot of ordinary Americans, do you think that there's more sympathy and more togetherness, more solidarity with workers these days?
Absolutely. You saw it just in the media coverage of what the workers are facing right now. We did not see a lot of stories talking about greedy workers asking for too much. We saw a lot of focus on what the people were actually facing at their workplace, whether it be the sick leave problem or the draconian attendance policies, or the fact that they're on call 24/7 or don't have access to their leave. All of these issues are what the people started focusing on. And I think there is a lot of sense of solidarity and a moment right now where people are recognizing that they have power in their jobs. And that power is magnified when you join together and you form unions and you bargain collectively.
And a rebalancing perhaps in the economy and in our own hearts and minds about these issues. Greg Regan, we thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.